Hello, this is Tannison. This is the first match breakdown for Wald that I will be making a video for, and I don't intend it to be the last one, but we will see what kind of video footage I can get my hands on. I have some notes for the video laid out in front of me, but nothing regarding the details, mostly because I prefer to let the details just flow straight from my mind to you guys instead of writing up a Word document and reading it from there. I will say the Wald Vatista can be pretty overwhelming, uh, but it's in my opinion that the matchup is actually pretty even compared to some of the other matchups in the game. If you're not interested in watching this whole video, I do have a brief summary of notable matchup information on the Mizumi Wiki, which I will go ahead and link in the description. So go ahead and go over to that website if you want to read that stuff. But hopefully the video and the wiki will be enough to get you started. As far as the content itself, if you have any feedback or anything else on that, just please leave a comment. As I'm starting out, obviously I'm not going to have a ton of information coming back to me, so every piece will count. But with that said, I'll go ahead and get started.
Either Imperius is going to have to do a prediction result, or one of them might just not bet. So we got Wald Vatista. That's crazy.
Oh, damn. Okay.
I didn't know he played Wald, but I did know I've seen him around. That's what I know.
Yeah, Bobby was connection toasting him earlier, and that's how I knew he played Wald. But this seems super cursed for Waldstein.
Yeah.
Like
that has such good zoning tools.
All right, so the first thing that I wanted to mention is using 214A, which is the clap that he was doing, as your neutral tool against projectiles. It is my belief that 4B actually handles this better. It does have a longer startup, but it has much more active frames and a faster recovery time. So as long as you don't do it too late, you should be able to delete projectiles while also keeping you safe. And there's no chance of getting a counter hit either with 4B unless like you're really, really late. Like late enough that you should not be doing anything. You should probably just shield it at that point instead. In this section of the video, he does
Wald
go for 4B,
that gets rid of.
but he trades, but that's because he's not at a good range for it. Usually at that range, I would suggest shielding instead. Let's go back and watch that full clip.
Good zoning tools. Yeah.
Like
that has such good zoning tools.
Yeah.
Wald has the clap that gets rid of balls, and I think that little thing he tried to do.
Oh, we can go right into our next point here. Wald actually assaulted while there was a gem on screen, like directly in his path, and that is a very big no-no. Once you assault, you can't defend, and with the gem on the screen, it's very easy for Vatista to trigger the gem. She just hits 5A or something, and you eat a counter hit, gem hit, which will definitely lead to a full combo. When there are gems on the screen, you generally want to dash block, but there will be, I'm going to go over it more in detail later on because there's going to be some more situations where that comes up.
Good zoning tools.
Yeah.
Wald has the clap that gets rid of balls, and I think that little thing he tried to do also gets rid of it, but you also have to jump as well a lot, and Vatista does not care.
Yeah, this feels like it's got to be like a 9.5, 0.5 matchup.
Okay, hold on. Oh, I saw a throw whiff. Where was that again?
As well a lot, and Vatista does not care.
Yeah, this feels like it's got to be like a 9.5.
Okay, so right there, what happened was Vatista went for a throw, and Wald had anticipated the throw. He probably pressed AD, 1 AD, which caused the shield. But if he had instead done an option select, he probably could have taken his turn and potentially gotten a full combo as well if he could react to it fast enough. An option select in general is when you do an attack, but also hide that attack behind a throw tech, which is AD. Wald's usual throw option selects are either 2 AD, 1 AD, or 1A, or I'm sorry, 1 AD, 2 AD, or 1 C AD. I can answer more questions about that in the Wald Discord if you go and join that. Otherwise, the wiki also goes into detail about option selects, but it's kind of advanced, maybe kind of immediate or intermediate-ish, but it's an incredible tool, especially for Wald, since his 1C is so strong, the 1C AD. If he had done an option select, he would have gotten his turn instead of kind of shielding awkwardly and giving his turn back.
5 matchup. I don't see how Wald
Good throw tech
comes out of this.
I don't know the numbers, but flash kick is an answer that he's gonna have to deal with.
Yeah, now he can just literally, Stranger can just.
All right. Well, one thing I will make note of is when you're getting spammed by projectiles like that, it is usually beneficial just to shield most of that stuff, especially if you're unsure from that distance what Vatista is going to be doing. There's no highs or lows from this range, so shielding is safe as long as you don't green shield, and that's shielding when you're still in block stun. But yeah, shielding will just net you a ton of grid. It'll force Vatista to approach you into your ideal range, and you can start using 4B against some of those projectiles as well, and sometimes that can catch her out.
I don't see how Wald comes out of this.
I don't know the numbers, but flash kick is an answer.
Shield, yeah, shield
He's
instead
gonna
of
have
delete.
to deal with.
Yeah, now he can just literally, Stranger can just keep Howdagen just on the other side of the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was unfortunate. So that was a perfect assault. Like, that assault couldn't have been timed better. He was at a good range. His buttons would have reached, but he didn't press it. Maybe there was some stutter in net play or something. But let's see if I can get the right frame here.
Just on the other side of the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's going straight to Vatista. A JC would have been perfect right here, because it would have at least secured his turn, unless she shielded it, of course. But it would have hit her. It's a very good move to do from assault. It's not punishable. Even if she does shield, it's not punishable. And after this, she shoots a laser. Even if the laser was early, the JC would be very likely to break it, since Wald's C buttons break projectiles. JB may have also worked as well. If he hit Vatista early enough, the projectile would get deleted because she's being hit, and you can go into a brief combo from there, or maybe 360A or something like that.
Yeah, I legitimately don't know what answer Wald has. I guess you got to go really slow, dash
shit.
block,
Yeah,
and then
Wald
once you
is-
get in, never get out.
Alright, so when a gem wall is on screen like this, Vatista's charging, or concentrating, I should say, one of the last things you generally want to do is throw a rock, mostly because Vatista is in a defensive mindset in this position, where she's far away from her gems. There's no way to kind of bait you into like mashing a button. You're going to be defending as long as those are on screen. What you generally want to do is you want to do something to get Vatista to trigger these gems, even if it means giving her another turn, because as long as these gems stay on field, you're not getting past them for free. Definitely don't assault. I don't think jumping and assaulting would get over these gems either, but just stick to dash blocking, or potentially, if she's really holding on to these gems, you might be able to do a 236A as well, just because that move has some really good reach, like a dash 236A or something.
Like, never let him get out.
Yeah, and Wald is really slow. So when
Yeah.
you said really slow, it wasn't an understatement.
Oh, that was a very good rock. Actually, the casters are going to say that as well. That rock was very close to getting him a full combo. If you can time your rocks either to protect yourself on the startup or to collide with Vatista during the active frames, both of those situations are very good. You can't exactly combo from a trade, but it brings you much closer to her anyway with the wall bounce. So when she's kind of in a spammy mood, that is definitely when you want to do the rocks, not when there's a gem wall.
Nice rock. Just to disrupt the pressure, the rock is really nice, but
Yeah,
man,
especially
finding
with
those
gem
gaps.
set.
Yeah. Finding those gaps to throw the rock in are just nearly impossible.
Good assault.
Assault's in though. Finally gets to play the game.
Okay, so this is something that I'd been working with this player on for the last, or not really for the last long while, but for a couple of days. The reason why that combo dropped, let's
Finding those
watch
gaps
that again.
to throw the rock in are just nearly impossible. Assault's in though.
So Wald is far enough that Vatista falls too far in order for the J6C to connect. And the way to remedy that, let's see if I can go back a little further. The way to remedy that is to delay the J6C just a little bit. Like not even a half a second, just barely an extra delay. I can't really describe it, but I did upload a webim in the Wald channel as well. Maybe I'll link it in the description or something. But if you delay it just a little, then this J6C should connect, and then you can get a full combo.
Finding those gaps to throw the rock in are just nearly impossible.
Usually, the drop happens because the 214B happens from such a great distance. I believe that is the catalyst to this situation, but we'll probably need to do some more testing. I'm pretty confident it's this though.
Assault's in though. Finally gets to play the game. Unfortunate drop, and we're right back to square one. It feels.
How's the sound, by the way?
I think that was a mistake. I don't think he meant to jump there. That looked like maybe it was a 360C.
We're right back to square one. It feels.
Yeah, I think the green shield was an accident, and he tried to 360C while still in block stun and held up for too long by accident. This part's actually really difficult. I think it is beneficial for Wald players to learn how to press down back after they input their 360, just in case something like this happens. It kind of like once you get the grab, you can't really do anything else, so you might as well hold down back just in case the grab doesn't go through for one reason or another. Some other options are just pressing a different attack button as well. I think he could have done like a JA while he's falling, but I'm not 100%. Maybe a JB. But yeah, definitely get used to doing something else after inputting your grab to kind of cover for any misinputs.
How's the sound, by the way? Let me know if I needed to tweak any of the sound.
All right.
Oh,
All right, so not specific to this player, but Vatista does have what is considered an instant overhead. It's pretty difficult to block on its own. You pretty much have to fuzzy block it every time. It is when Vatista hides her upcharge with a different move. Usually by Assault J6C, which is the move that she's doing right now. She'll finish this move and then do a very tiny jump to get her airborne, and then just overhead drill.
Oh, the drill, no!
The drill is so rough. Oh my god. What do you even...
Okay, so let's go back. He missed the 360C. That's unfortunate, but that's part of the Wald matchup. He went for a gamble, but it just didn't work out that time.
All right.
I think this is too far back, yeah.
Oh, the drill, no!
The drill is so rough. Oh my god.
So whenever Vatista does this kind of double jump thing, whatever this command is, I don't actually know it. You want to punish that almost every time. She might do the angled laser, which you can at least shield and get free grid for. But depending on how early or late she does it, you might be able to use like 236A to just swipe her out of the air. You could do 66C as well. That has really long aerial horizontal reach. And your other option is dash 3C, and those are all just kind of dependent on spacing. Don't let her use this move for free. Like, you should be... You're Waldstein, the anti-air machine. There's no air in the... No space in the air should be safe while you're present, so don't let her do this. Get your free damage, get your free grid. Just make her not want to fly around.
What do you even do?
I don't know. I don't even think a lot of Wald players know. I feel like we need Argon roster somebody here to tell us exactly like how you play it.
We need someone.
Yeah, we need more shields, definitely. Those all could have been shields to secure the cycle. Wald could have like 3 or 4 blocks by now if he had been shielding, and Vatista would have absolutely nothing. I don't remember who wins the cycle, but if he had been shielding, it would have been 100% Wald winning it.
Because it feels like the second Hydrogen gets knocked down, Stranger just backdash, and it's just like, I can take a hit because I'm not getting countered today. I'm going to backdash, and then you're going to deal with this pressure.
Yeah, I think that was just counter poking.
Pretty clean round from Stranger there.
Yeah, it's a rough first game. A rough draw for round 1.
Alright, so on round start, yes, 66B214B, which is what he did, is a relatively safe bet. Vatista does not have anything to contest it at round start. Everything that she could possibly do would lose, except for backing up or shielding, which in this case, Vatista chose to shield for the free grid. She actually got a double shield. She shielded both attacks, knowing full well that he was going to start with this. And when your opponent starts getting used to your timings and your habits and all that, that is the time to generally start switching things up. Wald has many round start options, and they're all strong. Of course, you have the 66B214 round start, but you can also, especially, this doesn't work against every character because there are some characters have different walk backward speeds. Like if you compare Seth's walk back to Aurier's walk back, it's like night and day. But if you do a dash 2B, this will catch Vatista because she can't walk back fast enough to avoid that, so she has to specifically block it. You can do assault JC. You can do sometimes if I'm feeling cheeky, you can do 66C whiff, unless they're jumping. It'll whiff on standing opponents, and then you can do a 720A upon landing, which is a very strong option because it covers anybody jumping back and anybody not attacking, not mashing. That's a personal favorite, really, because it gives you good Ogi too. But and then the last option is a 236A or B round start. There's some pretty good RPS that goes into following up that move or not. But it also catches people backdashing, so don't rule it out. Don't think that 66B is your only option. Go for any one of those 3 or 4 that I said.
Yeah, nice clap.
Nice.
I'm
It's
seeing
doing a lot better this time around.
Yeah,
keeping the
but I'm
gems
still
from
seeing
coming out.
Hydrogen back up like a.
That was a really risky assault. I'm not sure how exactly. I want to watch it
Doing
again.
a lot better this time around.
Yeah.
Yeah, if Vatista did like a 5A instead of walking backwards, this assault definitely would have gotten stuffed. I won't take long on this one, but just generally get in the habit of not assaulting a neutral. Like, you pretty much only want to save it for when when she's in the process of doing a projectile, so like you assault over something, or when you're so far that like there's nothing that like she could punish it with, like after a laser or something like that. Because no matter which ball she uses, I don't think that it would get to you fast enough to punish your assault on landing.
Keeping the
But I'm
gems
still
from
seeing
coming out.
Hydrogen back up like a fair
Good
amount.
whiff
There
punish.
we go. Okay.
He missed that J6C again, I think for the same reason.
This time around.
Yeah.
Keeping the
But I'm
gems
still
from
seeing
coming out.
Hydrogen back up like a.
Yeah, so the 214B was really far. Instead of doing JA, JB, J6C, you can also buffer a dash right here and do JA, J5C, J6C, and that doesn't require any delaying. It just requires a buffered dash input instead of the delay. Whichever you feel is easier on your hands or easier for controller, they're both good options. Just all you got to do is do what works is pretty much what I mean here.
Fair amount. There we go. Okay. Oh no.
All right, so that was a good that was a good CS.
Fair amount. There we go. Okay. Oh no.
All right, so it was a good CS. However, I think it was either too late or the meaty was really good on Vatista's part. In this particular situation, Wald had tried to contest with 3C, but Vatista's too late in her animation. Like, she's within a couple of frames of the active frames on her move getting out there. In this particular situation, your only option is to block. Even if you did have meter and wanted to do 623C, I want to say that Vatista would land first and would give her a free punish. You generally want to save that for maybe 360C or 720C may have gone through, but I'm really like, it's something that's you probably want to test on your own or just attempt in a real match or however you prefer to learn. But blocking or shielding is probably the safest bet here. Make her lose some grid with some green shields or something like that.
Oh, I don't know what he tried to do.
Yeah, I saw the CS, but I'm not kind of sure what came off.
Okay, so Vatista had attempted to use the B drill. I guess like in a block string or something.
Yeah, I saw the CS, but I'm not kind of sure.
So that kick that she just, let me see if I can really get it. That kick that she did is extremely minus. You should always be able to punish this every time. I don't even think you need to shield it. If I remember, it's like -12 or -8 or something that anything that allows Wald's 5A or 2A to hit without even shielding. So always know that it's punishable. Even just a standing grab just to get her back into the corner might have been a decent option, just because the grid cycle is actually getting pretty close. With the grid swing and maybe a little bit of concentration, maybe he could win the next cycle. So don't, just because you have 360A doesn't mean you need to always do that when you want to throw as well.
Kind of sure what came off of it. Red combo.
Yeah, I probably tried to answer, but it was really late. Oh,
Okay,
crazy
there we
train!
go.
Now you're
So raw God Press is generally not a good option, but it is always funny when it happens. I guess don't rule it out every time, but if you do it in pure neutral like that, expect to eat a full punish, because all they have to do is jump between the moment that you press it, like the moment that he changes his stance, until it connects.
Red combo.
I probably tried to answer, but
Like if Vatista just jumped anytime, like there's got to be 60 frames at least between this stance was taken and by the time he reaches Vatista. For people that are looking out for it and who know that this is a move that Wald has, it's generally not good, but in this case it just happened to work out. If he had Vorpal, he could have gotten a full combo off of it, but at least he gets the corner and can initiate some new pressure from it.
It was really late. Oh,
Okay,
crazy
there we
train!
go. Yo,
Now you're in the corner.
I would be dice rolling so much if I was Waldstein in this matchup.
And
Okay, so I hadn't paused during any of Vatista CSs because they weren't really noteworthy. Like, they were in the middle of walled pressure, like just general correct usage of CS. But this
crazy
time,
There we
train?
go. Yo,
Now you're in the corner.
I would be dice rolling so much.
but this time it's on wake up, which is something that I definitely can talk about. When your opponent has CS, you need to change the way that you do Oki. That's when you do some sort of attack on the opponent's wake up so that it forces them to either, punishes mashers, and it forces your opponent to block on wake up, pretty much. But when your opponent has Vorpal, they can see what you're doing and they can react accordingly. In this case, it was Flash Kick. When your opponent has Vorpal, you generally want to bait it out somehow, and the best way to do that, in my opinion, is standing at a range that's in between your opponent's ideal ranges. So for Wald, I would say, like, if he backed up first, like probably like a full Wald width, like where his front foot should be where his back foot is right now. Obviously, you don't just walk back that far from that move, but just in general, like if you have the option, you want to be in this kind of fuzzy area where like Flash Kick would miss if she attempted it, even if you were doing something. Because if she does Flash Kicks and it whiffs, obviously you're going to get a full whiff punish. But the more uncertainty your opponent has on what your actions are going to be on wake up, the less likely they would be to either hold, like they'll either use CS and waste it, or they'll try to hold on to it because they're just that unsure of what you're going to do. Both situations are fine because that means you get to run the stuff that you want to run. Of course, being at that distance means you can't do 360A either. That's kind of a different set of Oki, but if you're gonna wake up, or if you're gonna do Oki with 5C, you probably need a better ender as well. If it were me, I probably would have done 2B or at least 236B. Maybe not, I don't know, but not 5C, that's for sure, even if it's a good starter.
If I was Waldstein in this matchup.
And
Of course.
I got the best.
Yo,
Let's
Good
go.
call.
Dunker.
Back to the corner you go. Actually, baited a green show, won the cycle off it too.
All right, so I wanted to let that run through. When you have your opponent in the corner, you don't really want to throw everything out that you have all at once. If you can hold on to your moves to create uncertainty in your opponent as to what kind of pressure you're running, that is when you can start making your opponent make mistakes so that you can capitalize on those mistakes, because that's like a core component to Waldstein play. Let's see if I can get a little closer.
Best.
Yo,
let's go.
Dunker.
Back to the corner you go.
Right, the JB was good, the 5B was good, but around here, especially after this clap, that's kind of when I would have started like shimmying or something, because you still want to pressure with 360A, and even if they Flash Kick, like that's not that much damage. So if you want to, sometimes what I'll do is like I'll dash forward a little bit. I'll do like 6-6B no cancel instead of the clap to make it plus. Yes, it leaves me negative, but it creates uncertainty for future engagements where it's like, oh, is he gonna clap? Is he gonna just 360A? That sort of thing.
Actually, baited a green show, won the cycle off it.
He could have delayed the follow-up attack for that as well. He didn't have meter, so I guess he couldn't cancel it anyway, but even so, if you just leave some sort of frame trap, like the more frame traps you have, the better. And 236A follow up is a free frame trap that he didn't utilize in this particular situation. The only time I ever wouldn't suggest doing that frame trap is if your opponent has displayed their ability to use an invincible reversal during that frame trap, but that doesn't seem too common, so pretty much just do it all the time, unless it's part of your mix-ups. Yeah, he just keeps going and eventually gets whip punished.
Yeah, this is not where Hadajin wants to be.
Yeah, he couldn't win the cycle because of how long that combo was, so now he has to play neutral. Oh, what a great...
That was very good defense on Wald's play there. Vatista jumping around all over you is a very scary situation because she can change her trajectory multiple times using that double jump-ish, or one of her ball attacks. Those also changed trajectory, her aerial trajectory, I should say. So it was very good blocking.
Yeah, he couldn't win the cycle because of how long that combo was, so...
Also, in this situation, I've been told by Vatista players that you should be able to 360B from here. Actually, no, I'm going to take that back. I think that only works if they don't use CS. Like, if they try to do the A ball to make whatever they just finished to be safe, that's when you can 360B before the ball hits you. But in this situation, 360C definitely was the correct response. She could have jumped, I should say. So it wasn't the correct response in general, but Wald took a gamble, thought she was not going to go airborne, and she didn't.
Has to play neutral. Oh, what a great command.
Will this kill? No.
No, I don't think it goes.
Oh my God. Okay, never mind.
And he wins the round
At first
for
I was
it.
like, okay, maybe.
I thought he was barely alive. Okay, flash.
All right, so round start. If we go back to remembering that last time she shielded both 6-6B and the clap afterwards, so she knew that he was going to do something, and it didn't matter that it was assault this time. It was some sort of offensive action, and of course B flash kick will beat that. So just remember to mix up your round start options.
Okay.
Yeah,
Don't jump at me.
In general, I don't think it's a good idea to mash after your opponent assaults with an attack after it. It's very rare to be plus enough, or I'm sorry, for your opponent to be minus enough for any of your mashes to actually connect. Maybe he was just trying to take his turn back, but if you want to do anything after blocking an assault and attack, that would be 360A 100%, because that move is fast enough to punish some mistimed assault buttons. In this particular situation, I don't think it would have been, because it was actually assault JC, Vatista's assault JC to be precise, and that move is very, very plus, and in my opinion, I don't think it's worth contesting anything that comes after it. It's just such a good move, and it's very hard to punish that even if you do lab something and find out, yeah, you can do this or that, I'm sure she has multiple options to do it and is generally plus enough that whatever risk you have to take to do it is probably not worth the reward.
Drop the combo, but still has the pressure going. The gem pressure is so...
Okay, so this was the correct 360B, I believe. I'm gonna go back and watch here.
Drop the combo, but still has the pressure going.
Yeah, so I would say like 360B has a fast enough startup that whatever Vatista might have at this particular range that's on the ground would be beaten by it, and in this case, that's what we see. In this case, she opted for a gem, so I guess she was going for a safe gem placement, or at least what she thought was safe. She takes a red throw 360B, so she can't tech these. I have found out that if Vatista ends any of her strings with either a gem or an A ball, that is when you should 360B, because you'll always get a red grab on those.
Pressure is so scary. When it explodes, you can't even see what she's doing half the time.
Yep.
Okay, so the 360B was good.
It's so scary. When it explodes, you can't even see what she's doing.
I had actually labbed this very specific interaction. Vatista techs ground techs in place, so she gets up right where she is. And Waldstein does dash 236B. And from the lab, I found out that if you don't dash, you'll actually get 236B meaty, which would have stopped the attack that Vatista did. Or it'll, at worst, it'll make it your turn with your 236B. So you can handle that however you need to. But if you dash 236B, you'll miss the meaty, and you will still miss back techers. So when you do a 360, under no circumstance should you dash if you're going for a meaty. It's just not going to reach. Like, the timing is not good. You have 0 Oki from a 360 unless you're in the corner. So either 236B or just dash for the sake of getting closer. Not both.
Half the time.
Yep. Yo, Taka, this isn't neutral. This is like...
All right, that was a very good 2-3. I'm sorry, that was a very good clap. 214A. Doing it before there were any projectiles on screen made it so that even if she did shoot something, he would have gotten to it early. And even though it technically counts as a whiff, I think he's still plus in that scenario that I just described. But it also prevents your opponent from getting closer as well. So if your opponent is not an immediate threat, but is still somewhat close to you, do go for like the 214As, 214Bs.
Yo, Taka, this isn't neutral. This is like...
Very good.
I don't know a word for it, but like, what Wald has to play right now is not neutral.
Oh.
It's like...
Okay, so I had spoken to the Wald player earlier, and he said that the match quality was actually not the greatest, and he said their connection just kind of shit the bed at that particular point. So obviously he didn't do 2 5A whiffs in a row on purpose.
I don't know a word for it, but like,
and you
what
can't
Wald has
really
to play right now is not neutral.
Oh.
It's like,
You try to go for a reset?
oh, I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, very unfortunate.
Yeah, that was awkward. I think he tried to reset and the button.
Okay, so this was a very good CS as opposed to the last one.
Yeah, that was awkward. I think he tried.
So this time he CS'd while Vatista was still like early in her animation, where she definitely still has a more than a few frames to go before it's active. He opted for 3C, which is a better combo, but I think it's more dangerous. Wald's DP is not useless. It has very early head and dive invulnerability. And yeah, it's harder to combo from, but it very, like, unless your opponent is like 1 frame away from hitting you, it'll always beat out these types of aerial attacks. But if you catch them early enough to actually get a 3C out, then that is definitely what you want to do, especially against Vatista. 1C is a good counter hit combo, but Vatista can't be counter hit, so 3C is definitely the one you want to use here when you can.
The reset and the button didn't come out. Oh,
Yo,
you can combo from 3C if you do 6-6B as well, but I think that's what he tried to do, but he was probably going a little too fast and input the 6-6B before the buffer, and then tried to do the 214B afterwards, and the only thing you get is 2B instead. It kind of sucks, but yeah, just make sure to time your 6-6B correctly. That's all.
a call out with the air grab.
Oh, that's
Oh!
actually it if he gets a punish.
This should be it.
Yeah, That's the game.
Yo, Hadojin, let's go. Okay.
That was great adaptation from Pattern.
That was, you're right. That was really, really nice adaptation. Block the reversal, and then from there.
I think Vatista shielded those again, which is fine. She probably got the flash kick once and was like, okay, I'm gonna see what he does now, but he did more of the same, but that's all right. He did 4B this time, but this time it was a little bit early. If he was a little bit later, the shockwave would have canceled this one out, and he could have done something afterwards. I will also say that Vatistas have a strong habit of preferring to do a laser after this one. I'm not sure why, but it is super free grid for you. Like, I don't even bother assaulting after when I block this, because I'm so sure that they're going to give me free grid with the laser afterwards. I don't even know if she's actually going to do it here, but it's just a pattern that I've noticed with my time against Vatista players.
The rest was history.
Yeah, now Stranger Whiskey's
Yep,
trying
there's
to
the
play
laser.
lava fish this time, backing up immediately.
Yeah, just zoning Wald out, which is...
Okay, so Wald actually almost lost that cycle due to good concentration on Vatista's part. Shield,
Yeah.
he could have shielded that one. In this particular situation, especially with Vatista charging, there's nothing, like, she can't charge any of her attacks while she's concentrating. I mean, maybe she might be able to concentrate with a gem. I'm not 100% sure, don't quote me on that. But she can't charge a laser while she's concentrating. So if you see Vatista concentrating and the cycle is almost over, you also slam that concentration button. She does have a gem on screen, so that even though she's concentrating, that is still a no-go for assaulting. If she does like JC or something, just raw JC, I think that's close enough for her to trigger that and get you a gem counter hit into a full combo. So with the gem there, don't assault, just concentrate until the cycle's over.
Just zoning Wald out, which is...
Oh, he almost
why
gave the
not?
cycle there.
Set all the gems. Keep Wald on the other side of the screen. Give him hell trying to get across to you.
Yeah, because that's Wald's.
All right, so Wald did get opened up by assaulting, by trying to punish the assault JC, which I think the only way it's going to be minus is if you shield the last hit, and I think that's a little too much work to feasibly do in delay based net play. So don't mash during it.
Which is...
Oh, he almost
why
gave the
not?
cycle there.
Set all the gems. Keep Wald on the other side of the screen. Give him hell trying to get across to you.
Yeah, because that's Wald's hell. Oh, tried to.
I think that was supposed to be 360C. I'm not 100% sure because J2C or Wake Up J2C does have its uses, but those uses are not really against Vatista. Actually, I think he could have gotten away with 360A. I think he tried to do 360A. Let me start again. I think he tried to do 360C, but he could have done 360A because Vatista's active frames had stopped because, you know, she's on the ground. She's doing the wind up for that spin kick. And 360A is just a 3-frame startup, and I'm pretty sure there's more than 3 frames before that kick comes out. So maybe he could have just done a regular. I wonder. Yeah, I think it's just a regular, like a J5C increase probably would have been enough as well. And that one, actually, that would probably be even more ideal because then you can get a full combo from it. Going back to what's actually happening on screen, though, J2C in particular is generally not a very good move against Vatista, mostly because all of her anti-airs are extremely vertical, so you can't really change your air trajectory against them. And even if it does hit, she can't get counter hit, and you can only combo from this move from counter hit or with CS, but he just used it. So that's why I think him using it was an execution error when he tried to do 360C, which that would have been fine and not great, but pay attention to how far your opponent is in their animation whenever you use CS.
J2C.
Actually, I'm not sure what happened there. I think he crossed himself out.
Oh, tried to.
Yeah, so I wish I could rewind just by like 1 second instead of. So what happened was.
Oh, tried to.
So Wald does JC, not the increase, and when you don't increase it, you actually have enough time to input another move, which is good if you don't do a cross up. But in this situation, it is a cross up, so I think I'll miss it if I try to get the right frame. But he does a JA right after this, and the cross up means he attacks right when Vatista is left. Yes, it was just too far, but right before this frame. But you can see him turned around, so he's orientated to the right. So when you're doing a cross up, don't do any follow up moves, even if it means you get punished. But it's better than
J2C. That was insane.
For a second, I thought that he was going to convert off of that.
Yeah, that was unfortunate he didn't. Immediately backing out that.
Okay, so while watching that, I actually had like
Immediately backing out that.
I think I would have eaten it, but at this range before he dashed, that is some really good 236A range. I guess you'll obviously have to look out for the parry, but you just at that point you have to look at the patterns that your Vatista is displaying to you. If they never use their parry, in neutral after when she's got a gem on screen, then use 236A. But if she is starting to use her parry, that's when you should dash block and shield. As far as the parry goes, she can cancel it into laser at any point. I'm not sure how it works with flash kick, but I do know that if you trigger it with a strike attribute move, it automatically inputs the flash kick for her. But she can cancel it into laser either on when it blocks a projectile against you, or if she doesn't do anything, I'm pretty sure she could just hit laser and have it come out. Even at full screen, if you try to hit her with a rock and she parries it, the laser will hit you unless you used CS. So be mindful. Don't just throw rocks across the screen willy-nilly either.
Yeah, this round, unfortunately, though, is strange.
So I guess this will be a little bit of a Vatista thing, but last time Vatista stayed on the ground and got hit by 360A, or I'm sorry, with 360B. But this time she jumps after the CS because she's expecting the grab again. And if he did it, he would have gotten counter hit and eaten a big mouthful of damage.
Stranger's just running right in there. I mean, it's working out for him right now, but still, kind of ballsy. I feel like Waldstein up close, anything can happen. That grab.
I feel like a lot of the balls come from the fact that Stranger's playing cycles really well. So even if he does get hit, he's just gonna wake up CS, or the fear if it's enough for him, just take his turn.
Good assault. It looks like he dropped it because his follow-up A attack wasn't fast enough, or early enough, I should say.
Get hit, he's just gonna wake up CS, or the fear if it's enough for him.
So he did 5A there actually.
Get hit, he's just gonna wake up CS, or the fear if it's enough for him.
Okay, so he was close enough, it just wasn't early enough in the combo. The Assault JC combo does have somewhat stiff timings. All you got to do is practice it, though. It's unfortunate that it dropped, but it's at least still his turn.
Just take his turn anyway.
Okay, so actually, I was expecting Vatista to flash kick during this pressure.
Anyway.
I'm gonna watch one more time. Okay, so yeah, so this is one thing definitely. Anytime that you find yourself in the air against someone who is activating their CS, it is 9 times out of 10 a really good idea to press your J2C in this situation. It doesn't matter who it's against. Because if Vatista flash kicks, it'll hit either one, but she's not going to get very much damage. So in this situation, she sees that he's assaulting. You can't block during an assault, so she's going to try to maximize her damage. So in this case, she goes for, I think it's JB or something like that. But if Waldstein had seen, oh shit, you know, this opponent is using CS and I'm an assault, J2C changes your aerial trajectory to, you know, to make your opponent's moves whiff. And it's an extremely fast move, so like at this point, Wald would have already collided with Vatista with an active hitbox and stopped himself from taking damage. So repeat one final time. If you're in the air, your opponent CS is just press J2C on reaction.
Okay.
Nice air.
Oh, the grid break. Okay.
This is really important. This is a really important cycle.
God, those dash.
You got. I think we already said this, but when you see that many projectiles, especially with Vatista guard broken, her doing this is her way of saying, I want you to stay out while I'm recovering from being guard broken. So Wald could have farmed a bunch of grid. Even he's at 200 meter, but it's very easy to use meter as Wald. So you know, you get less block stun anyway, so you can use that to advance a little bit better. She was using a lot of horizontal projectiles as well. I don't even think she's done a single anti-air projectile now that I think about it. It would have been the perfect time for some more assaults.
Really important. This is a really important cycle.
Like, on that, even though there was that gem on the field, I don't think that gem was close enough to be a threat.
Important cycle.
God, those dash blocks.
Yeah, we need more shields for sure.
Hydrogen's having a hard time again.
I feel like Wald moves.
That was really good, actually. I want to see that again.
It's having a hard time again.
I feel like Wald.
So if you look, Assault JC had slashed the projectile out of the air and also hit Vatista. Assault JC against projectiles is extremely good. The only character that I'd say it's weak against in particular is Hyde, and I can go over that in some other video. But against Vatista, it's super strong. I'm not 100% sure if it protects you from the B lasers that go up at an angle. Maybe with some really exact timing, but I don't think it's something that you can really plan for. So, but if you're gonna assault, especially if you're gonna put yourself in range of your opponent, just throw out JC, especially against Vatista.
Moves like 8 pixels every time he dash blocks.
That move missed, actually. That was JB.
I feel like Wald moves like 8 pixels every time he
So if he did JA, I think the hitbox difference between JA and JB must have been significant enough for this combo to whiff. It should have hit just because she was in the corner. I don't think that should have affected the combo. But if you want a habit to learn, it's JA first before anything else. After, you know, when you're doing your main combo, whether that's JB afterwards or JC afterwards, or J214. You know, that's up to you. But for the sake of doing combos, just always do JA first.
It's so small.
Yeah, but he still has a cycle. All of that grid base. Got 2 cycles in a row. That could be it.
I think he can kill here.
Oh, dropped it.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Okay, so Wald had actually used 4B to reset. Let's see. Yeah, this is good.
So small.
Yeah, but he still has a cycle.
All right, so it was a good, like, he didn't plan for her to be assaulting. He was just throwing out the rock just for the sake of throwing it out, which at this point in the grid cycle is not too bad of an idea. Whatever grid deficiency he put himself at should get recovered by the time it gets to 75%. So throwing out rocks early in the cycle is good. In this case, Vatista had been planning to assault and got hit in the face with a rock. But here, we got 1 wall bounce that just happened.
All of that grid base. Got 2 cycles
We've got J6C, which is going to cause another wall bounce, and then he finishes with 4B.
in a row. That could be it.
You notice he did 214A to create like a bunch of visual noise. If your opponent doesn't exactly know that they're being reset, this visual noise is very strong. You see how she shields because she's freaking out, like, oh shit, you know, he's doing stuff. I think I'm being reset. I better shield. He could have done a number of things from a reset point of view. The Mizumi wiki has all of your options from restands like this, so I'm not going to go over all the options, but he actually could have ended it before the reset in general, so you want to make sure that your game plan lines up with what's happening in the game.
All of that grid base. Got 2 cycles in a row.
So after the J6C, he could have done pretty much anything that used meter. My personal suggestion would have been to use JCJB, J214B, and then CS, so you can cash out a little bit of meter and then use whatever super that you want.
That could be it.
But he opted for the reset.
Oh, dropped it.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
It worked
Let's
out,
go.
but
Last round.
definitely work on
I'm
your
not
reset
gonna lie, I thought
options
this was gonna be, 2-0
in
when I
general,
saw
not this
Vatista
particular
Wald
player,
Wiki.
but you know.
Yeah, first game didn't help your thought process here. Oh, that was an unfortunate drop. Stranger back.
Okay, that was actually very good. Obviously, he got the hit, but he assaulted from outside of range,
Oh, that was an unfortunate drop.
and like Vatista tried to punish the whiff, but like her move wasn't large enough to reach or fast enough to compete with Wald's 5B.
Drop.
I think keep having to go back, but
That was an unfortunate drop.
yeah, I think it was like 2A or something. Yeah, if you can space that well, if you can learn that exact spacing, you can really make some Vatista sweat as to what moves she should be doing.
Stranger backing up and getting hit too.
Yeah, there's another situation. Oh, and the CS and everything too, so this is really good for discussion.
Stranger backing up and getting hit too.
All right, so in my personal preference, especially after 2 claps, that's when I want to give my opponent some space to make them wonder what I'm going to do, because after 2 claps, you're generally too far to initiate any extra pressure without doing 2-3-6, which is what he did afterwards, so he can move himself closer. But after the second clap, you definitely want to start shimmying or throwing out some moves that you know won't hit, but will make the Vatista hesitate in approaching you, or throwing out more projectiles. Most of your moves on whiff, like 2B or 5B, or even just 2A, you know, just something like, as long as it whiffs, will create a little bit of confusion and uncertainty in your opponent. And, you know, if you mix up those whiffs with the 236A and your CS and your delayed follow-up and your, you know, whatever else you have, that is how you get openings.
Oh, flash
the
kick.
flash kick.
Yeah, don't give him a gap.
I almost forgot the CS part, actually. So when you use CS to make a move safe, 9 out of 10 times your opponent is still in defense mode. They expect you to still take your turn. In first to 2 matches that I usually have, I get a lot of success out of using the CS and then just walking backwards a little bit. Because that, and your opponent says, oh, he's done with his turn, he's going into defense mode, but you still have normals that'll reach your opponent if you back up. What I'll do is I'll take like 2 steps back and then 5B. I'll just throw it out there because they see you walking backwards, so they're not going to flash kick because, you know, you walk backwards, you're defending. So they'll do something. They'll do some sort of offensive action. Just throw 5B or 5C, and you just got yourself a free hit off of walking backwards. It's really good. But yeah, just keep in mind what sort of, like, if someone were using CS on you, like they did something incredibly unsafe and they use CS, and you know that they're going to take their turn back. But for Wald, it's just a little bit different, and especially against Vatista, where, you know, she has a flash kick. That's tough to deal with. So in general, try to get some mind games with your CSs.
Oh,
the flash kick.
Yeah, don't give him a gap. Oh.
I told you it's the grappler soul. You know, I hate when a grappler, like, grapplers me to death, but I love CS.
So at that CS range,
You know, I hate when a grappler, like, grapplers me to death.
So in this particular situation, I think I would have jumped. Like, if I saw, I actually already forget what move Vatista uses after this, but whatever move, if I was fighting Vatista in this particular situation, my first thought is that she's gonna 6-6C, which is that like ballerina twirl or something. And I don't care what sort of ball it is, I'm gonna try to jump it because it just, you know, there's travel time, and I think there's enough travel time for Wald, even Wald, who has the slowest jump startup, and a couple others. Wald should be able to clear it.
But I love CS.
Yeah, see, Vatista just jumps right in, and I think...
You know, I hate when a grappler, like, grapplers me to death, but I...
Yeah, he was way too close for 214A, especially with Vatista CSing like that. So in general, if you don't want to contest it in the way that I would have played it, just shield it. Like, it's their turn 100%. But, you know, at least you don't get counter hit. If you try to... The clap may have been good if there was no CS, but seeing as the CS happened right after, or right, like, she did the ball and then she CS to cancel the recovery so that she can actually mount an attack.
You know, I hate when a grappler, like, grapplers me to death.
Yeah, like, she is in the position to start fucking you up because she's, well, I guess we already saw it, but yeah, she's gonna dash straight into you, so you know that she's gonna attack. Would I be confident enough to 360C right here? I don't think so. But jumping over the projectile to make it whiff while also getting ready to do some sort of attack of your own is definitely a strong option to punish this kind of gung ho attitude that Vatista is showing.
But I love seeing it happen to somebody else.
Yeah, when it's someone else, you're like, yes, let's go.
go. Look at the damage, though.
Yeah.
That is.
One thing I've noticed is almost every time Strader's hit him, he's done that same ender. Like, where's this meter coming from?
Yeah.
Oh,
Wait a second, I got distracted with the Twitch recording.
same ender. Like, where's this meter coming from?
So here Wald did that assault JC whiff as kind of an approach, but this time he did 6-6B because he was so far. I guess Vatista tried to contest it anyway.
One thing I've noticed is almost every time Strader's hit him, he's done that same ender. Like, where's this meter?
Yeah, so he just does assault JC and just gets right in there with 6-6B. It was a good option. I don't have any details on that. I just say it was very good in keeping Wald's turn, and it turned into a full combo.
Coming from?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a really big hit.
Yeah, this is huge.
As far as this particular combo goes,
Same ender. Like, where's this meter coming from?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a really big hit.
as far as that combo, he just did the increase JC. Your combo finisher is supposed to be 2B, 5B, 5C, 3C. That's the common bread and butter route. That's the first combo that you'll see on the combos page of the wiki. I'm not sure what happened here, but he did 4B instead. I think 2C, 4B may have hit for restand. But, I mean, the game's kind of getting a little close, so I don't know if he'd want to risk a restand at this point. But, yeah, just always make sure to, like, dropping your combos as Wald is less about the damage and more about maintaining Oki and maintaining pressure. So when you're choosing an ender to use, definitely keep in mind that information.
Yeah, this is huge.
Oh, he dropped it. No.
If Stranger doesn't drop, that's it.
Yeah,
I
he's
don't think
dead
he's
for
going
sure.
to. Yeah, that's it.
So with the
Really
4B,
big hit.
Yeah, this is huge.
I think if he did it later, like if he realized, oh crap, I didn't do the right move, and like he could press 4 but not 4B, if that makes sense. He could have held onto the 4B a little bit and caused the shockwave hitbox to make it his turn still.
Same ender. Like, where's this meter coming from?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a really big hit.
Yeah, this is huge.
Oh,
Yeah, if he was just a little bit later with that 4B or just did the combo correctly, he wouldn't have KO'd her from that damage, but, you know, he wouldn't have lost, unfortunately. So keep in mind that 4B is a strong Oki tool to prevent your opponent from mashing. So I guess that is it for the video. There's not much else. Yeah, just go straight to lobby. So I'll just have to listen to this one, see if I think it's sufficient, and then just share it with you guys. So until the next video, I will have to see you next time.